Support from the Canadian government be able to run this project. Next slide, please. So we have a project team that is running this affair, and we have the chairman of the Department of Medical Lab Science at the university, myself, principal clinical laboratory instructor, I'm the technical assistant to the PI, who is my chairman. Then we have one Albert Nyasi, who is IFBA's East African Program Coordinator. And there's Dr. Patrick Okanya, a senior lecturer at Applied Science and Technology University, which is in Nairobi. Then we have Dr. Marion Sarigo, a senior science analyst at the National Commission for Science and Research. And then Professor Jeremy Seni from Catholic University of Health and Allied Sciences in Tanzania. Then there is Bruce Anderson, Director of Occupational Health Safety, UBC, and then the Executive Director of IFBA, Maureen Ellis. Next. So, this project really is stemming from our innovative way of how we were doing things. So, we decided then that we have been educating students in medical lab science and medical biotechnology all these years. And in the curriculum, we have been teaching them about the fundamentals of biosafety and biosecurity. But in 2019, like I said yesterday, we started then implementing the national biorisk management curriculum within their time in the university. So we are in the process of preparing the curriculum, and at this stage, we are actually submitting to the Commission for University Education. Before all this happened, then you had to do a survey. So these findings we are sharing with you so that you can inform our way forward as part of our future planning and then implementation and growth. Next. So how have we been cultivating these biosafety, biosecurity issues within the profession? Ever since we started about 13 years ago, when we started doing medical lab science together with medical biotechnology, and we are doing all this at both diploma and degree level. We have been focusing on fundamentals, as I've said. And our structure of delivery of these courses is that the first 2 years, the students do general science. And then the last 2, because the degree takes 4, they now specialize. Those of medical lab science go their way, and those of medical biotechnology go their way. It is the same way we want to calculate as we undertake this cultivation of biosafety, biosecurity profession. The students retain at the same time, the qualifications are the same. They do the first years together, and then in year 3, they become senior. Everybody goes to the area of concern. So our faculty is composed of colleagues who are trained in quality management system and safety and biosecurity. So we try to calculate the culture into the students at formative stages on how to conduct lab practices in safe, ethical, environmental sound and compliant establishments using standards and principles, and then also important to protect themselves and their colleagues from others associated with the services in both clinical and research settings, and then be able to respond appropriately to any emergency that may arise within the lab setting, and also apply proper waste management measures to mitigate hazards and promote safe working environment, supporting a positive attitude of lab biosafety and biosecurity. As I said yesterday, biosecurity has been masked majorly by biosafety, and now we are trying to bring out biosecurity distinctly so that students and colleagues alike understand. And then importantly, as we have been hearing through the presentations from yesterday, we are also calculating the culture of being able to conduct research and then practice risk management, assessment, and then practice is management. Next slide. So from 2019, this is the cover of our Kenya Laboratory Biorisk Management Curriculum that came out in 2019. that then incorporates the One Health concept principally that can be cascaded and implemented by anybody in whatever sector, not only for medical laboratory. And it gives a general overview of security practices, equipment and facilities required for safe and secure handling of dangerous pathogens and potential infectious material in biomedical laboratory, regardless of whether it's animal, human, plant, whatever it is. So it helps the students or the trainee to acquire knowledge and understanding of the fundamentals of biosecurity in this work, and then it is adopting the One Health concept. So our Department of Medical Lab Science and Technology is domiciled within the School of Public Health, Biomedical Science and Technology. And we, at the end of last year, we did hold our latest curriculum review workshop for all departments as required by the regulator for universities, that is known as Commission for University Education. So we are focused on commencing a distinct biosafety program in the faculty, and we are having considerations on if we are going to do a diploma course for the same, postgraduate diploma and master programs in the same. So we have been continuing to hold stakeholders meetings. Next slide. So our innovative way of doing things is that on the left of this slide is the transcript, academic transcript that only mentions biosafety as a unit. But now, when we adopted the national curriculum for biorisk management, we then started giving the students extra modules, because the modules are 13. If you can look at the right of the slide below, those are 13 modules. So we cannot do these modules in one semester. So we customized our calendar such that the schedule shows that after the requisite unit in the transcript, we proceed to finish the other balance of the modules. And when they are done, we actually certify them. And we have got two kinds of certifications, because in calculating the culture, a student must understand why to pursue a biorisk management course, the way the curriculum, the national curriculum outlines. So there is a certificate of completion and certificate of attendance, because the extra modules are done off the semester after the first semester as synthesis. So for one to earn this certificate fully, they must attend all the other balance of the modules and then they get certified. Next slide. So the IFPA collaboration, the first meeting we had was with the East African Program Coordinator, and we discussed about the collaborative effort of establishing an undergraduate program. And that was around October last year. And then we were invited to Arusha for a meeting of the East African countries on matters biosafety, biosecurity, under the auspices of IFBA. Next slide. So the discussions were held, and we presented the innovative way of how we were doing things. And then we then came to an agreement with IFBA then that we need to establish a professional technical committee that will be looking at this program, and which is going to build upon our existing unit course in biosafety, biosecurity in both medical lab sciences and medical biotechnology programs, to create a new undergraduate degree program in biosafety, biosecurity, biological non-proliferation. So all students undertake related courses in the first 2 years, as I've said, followed by specializing in the distinct discipline together with a practical laboratory and field experience and capstone letters. So we were actually ambitious, and we are targeting to admit this month. And of course, there have been delays with the issues with elections because there was a time that there was a lacuna, and we have not moved with speed, but I'm glad that we are still within the timeline, because once the Commission for University Education accepts that we are okay, we meet all the requirements, then we should be able to advertise for admission next month. And other partners, as I've enumerated in the project team, include those that are listed. Next slide. So our survey, what was the methodology? We did design an electronic questionnaire. We updated it, and then we put the needs assessment survey and segregated both the respondents into those who are in school or universities and those who are working. and those who are continuing their education as they work. And we wanted to look at all those who are already working also in this field of biosecurity. So it was directed towards both students, practicing medical laboratory professionals, senior management of organizations whose activities require the services of biosafety professional throughout East Africa. And at this point, I want to mention then that East Africa extends to several countries within the Great Lakes region, and then we also have the East, Central, and Southern Africa network that also now extends towards the south of the continent. What we have been missing in these networks is the north, and I'm very glad that I'm addressing colleagues from the northern part of the continent. So this is how we spread this questionnaire using the networks that we have. Next slide. So it was virtually distributed, and as said, now you can see you have East, Central, Southern Africa, and 100 stakeholder participants completed the questionnaire within the time stipulated. And when we reviewed the respondents, we are looking at locally, our country is devolved, has got 7 counties. So 13 were represented in this survey by way of those who sent back the questionnaire. And most of the institutions that were majorly responding are basically based in Nairobi, and we had institutions like the National Blood Transfusion Service, we have Kenya Medical Training College, the prison service, we have our colleagues serving there, the mental hospital, and then we also have the Kenya Medical Research Institute, CDC, National Public Health Laboratory Services, and then other counties that were represented individually, including the ones that are listed there, out of the 47. Next slide. Now, this assessment has its own strengths because of the existing partnership between IFBA and then UBC, and then the fact that we know our stakeholders, we engage with them as we test students on clinical experience or attachment. We maintain that relationship, and even when new establishments come up, we move very quickly to ensure that we have a network that assists us to gauge what the industry requires. Next. Of course, like in any process, there are limitations, there are things that don't work. We expected that we sent this questionnaire to about 5,000 colleagues, and only 100 responded within the time stipulated. So that was a limitation. And then some of the respondents were using abbreviations that really nobody understands what they are. So we found that a little negative. Next. So what are the findings? Under section 1 of this questionnaire, we're looking at demographic issues, and we wanted to look at the gender of people who participated. So more males participated than females, and then we look at age group. We had a big number of people aged between 36 and 45 actually responding. Next. When it comes to level of education, we have one assortment. We have people who are who have a certificate. They're known as lab technicians. We have technologists with diploma, bachelors, masters, PhD, even medical doctors participated. People with certificate or secondary education also did participate. But then we realized that the highest number of participants or respondents at 40% were those who hold a degree. Next slide. Now, when it comes to current job title occupation, there are a number of entitlements out there. We have lab managers, administrators, we have technologists, technicians, biomedical scientists, researchers, safety officers. And it was interesting to us that we looked at the highest number of respondents being laboratory technologists and technicians at 27%. And then for the part of students, we saw then that the highest number of students who responded were actually those who are doing postgraduate studies. Next. So when it comes to reviewing the current biosafety responsibilities for in-service professionals, those are the ones who are on the bench, who are actually serving, we realize then that 47% of them have full-time responsibility. They are engaged as biosecurity officers. 50% of the people have customized their systems such that now biosafety, biosecurity is a distinct issue. Then we had also people who are if also people who had um, uh, working safety but have no formal designated responsibility, which is what we really are looking forward to addressing at 17.2%. Next. Now, when it came to where the colleagues acquired the knowledge and skills about biosafety, we realized then that at 67%, we had those who were attending training offered by an external organization, of course, which means then it was outsourced. And then we had a number of them attending at 43% attending a training facilitated within the institution. Next slide. When it comes to section B of our questionnaire, we had so much interest on if colleagues find that there's need for this program and if it was going to benefit them. So when we looked at how they were rating the BSc in biosecurity on a scale of 1 to 10, majority at 48 said it is necessary. It is necessary to have this this training. Next. So when it comes to the benefits of the program, colleagues' expectation, if the institution that they work for will benefit from the program in the next 10 years or so, 83% were affirmative, while 17% were negative. And then in-service professionals who would register for CPD, collegiate professional development or education courses, in this, if offered at university level, a convincing 92.7% agreed, and then 7.2 said it was not, they would not attend collegiate professional development. Then any barriers that might exist so that they cannot attend to this program, 70% were looking at the costs and limited campus accommodation availability, because our campus is based in the western part of the country. Actually, it's easier to go to Kampala by road from Kakamega than going to Nairobi. It's faster. 21% were going to find a problem on how to justify the necessity of the program at their workplace, which agrees then that some of the institutions at around 17% still have not appointed biosafety officers. And then so 23% are thinking that there is no job prospects, and then 23% think there's no incentive to, and then 30% the length required to be out for the period of the course is too much. And then 44% thought that by commuting it will be difficult, and then 51% are thinking that even if they took leave, applied for leave, it might not be granted because of low staffing levels. And then 70% feel that the cost of the program is going to be huge. Next slide. So in section C, we are looking at the structure, how colleagues want us to structure the program, the curriculum. And then we looked at on full-time vis-a-vis part-time basis. 87 agree that full-time is okay. 13% disagree. And then preference of the program's courses delivery, 12% said person to person. In a classroom, 16 virtually, 75 blended, where you combine both one person to person and virtual. And then the schedule on how it will be executed, half the program Monday, Friday, 5%, the whole day, 15%, evening program Monday, Friday, 23%. Weekend program was the most favorable. People want to do it between Saturday and Sunday. Next. So, when you look at curriculum options in terms of course, core courses and electives, in accordance with the choice of the student, those who are saying that core courses were 36 and elective was 64%, and the importance of students gaining practical experience in lab attachment as part of this curriculum for skills and competencies, which is cross-cutting. It was evaluated on a scale of 4. On a scale of 1 to 5, it was given a score of 4, which we found very, very, very nice. Next. And additional information which falls under section D of this survey tool that we used. Colleagues are thinking then that there should be scholarships offered and then there must be a market requirement or need. They expect that the curriculum be delivered by relevantly qualified professionals, and it should be offered to all health cadres. They need frequent practicals and orientation. The issue of creating bachelor's, master's degree, postgraduate training after uh, guys have undergone through the basic, and then exchange programs and site visits to high containment facilities. We all know that these high containment facilities are not found all over. There are very few, and then there needs to be exchange program, and then competent and committed lecturers, proposal and grant writing skills, employment opportunity, inclusion of bioterrorism in the curriculum, market-driven program, reputation, building national capacity, very important, model biosecurity issues, and then market survey, which is about jobs, inclusion, prevention control, and waste management, inclusion of ISO 15190 and 35001, booster cost, and at least affordable fees. So those are the things that we got off in the space that you give respondents an opportunity to say any other thing that they might wish to say. Next. So, in conclusion, we then agreed as a project team that young professionals are desirous of joining and pursuing this career, and the proposed program has received wide acceptance and support from stakeholders. And in view of the pandemic, which is a new kid on the block, emerging and re-emerging diseases, there needs to have experienced personnel that can safely collect samples, manipulate them in a safe and secure environment for everyone's safety and security. And I would like to say then that this is the first attempt globally to create an undergraduate degree course. And this is going to be important to all of us. Next. So, recommendation and next steps, we are seeking global partnerships. We are going to create a course structure incorporating all comments we receive, even the ones that will come from participants today. We are still working on finalizing our curriculum. And then we are finalizing the same by receiving these stakeholders, because even the regulator will have some comments to make. We don't know what they'll say. And then we'll incorporate in the edited version. After we're done with that, and we're hoping to be done as soon as possible. Luckily, they do things online. We have been uploading what they require since Monday. Hopefully, we'll be done. We were done yesterday. And then we will register this program with the Statutory Students Placement Body. We have the Kenya University and Colleges Central Placement Service, whereby students after high school, they become property of the government. And it's the government that posts them in all the universities in the Republic. But of course, it's an opportunity when they are admitted to review or change or switch to any other university. And then we are going to identify and engage qualified faculty. We are not going to confine ourselves to our country only. We are looking for experts from all over. So if you are an expert, we want to really talk to you. And then we are going to conduct sensitization outreach programs. Every secondary school is supposed to have a careers master who are expected to be taking students through careers that exist. We are going to sensitize them and involve immediate and future candidates to enlist with our program. Next slide. Thank you very much for your attention. I look forward to your comments and questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. James Sakwa. Any questions or comments about the proposed undergraduate degree course in biosafety and biosecurity, the first globally?
Okay, thank you. And you said for this program, the first year, the student undergo a general science study and later biosafety. My question is that the student that did the program in the lab, exactly what work they can do? Is it biosafety only activity, or they can do other laboratory practice? Thank you.
Yes, James, you can respond to the question.
Okay. Thank you very much. The faculty deliberately has designed all programs that are conducted in the department in such a manner that the introductory to all sciences, whether biosafety, biosecurity, whether medical lab science, whether you want to do microbiology, whether you want to do medical entomology or medical parasitology, whatever, the first year is introductory, and it includes the general science. We want to do organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry. We want to do basic mathematics, such that you standardize the students' thought process. Then in the second year, regardless of the course, a student is now started to be introduced to all the disciplines within the department at an introductory level. And then they determine, they agree then what they want to go for in the third and fourth year. Where in fourth year now is the specialization in that discipline, and then clinical attachment starts, and fourth year is exclusively clinical attachment or field attachment, so that they can really get the hands-on experience. Thank you.
Thank you. We have another question here.
Yes, indeed, I have a comment and then a question. So for the comment, I think we are greatly appreciate this program, because this program is considered the unique along the continent, and the first one. And for my knowledge, it is unique worldwide. For my knowledge, I don't know any program like this in the world. So I greatly appreciate you, Dr. Sakwa, and all your group. This is the first point. The second, I would like, sorry, maybe I'm missing something. This program is established to, or developed to establish a separately biosafety and biosecurity faculty. So after secondary schools, I go to the faculty of biosafety and biosecurity. Is that the true, or you are already have the faculty, for example, biotechnology, science, whatever, and you make another department within this established faculty concerning with biosafety and biosecurity? This is my first question. My second question is regarding the curriculum we are working on. I think you are keen to make this like practical issues. Sure, you should make an introductory theoretical issue and basics. But my question is that I think you are keen to make the hands-on training and experience in the lab and in the whatever level of the labs. So I am sure you are working on this. But my question is that you will separate this practical issue from the biosafety and biosecurity, or not? You combine both. Thank you so much.
Thank you, colleague Ali, Dr. Ali. We intend to have everybody follow our tradition, whether they are doing biosafety, biosecurity, or they are doing medical lab science and technology, or they are doing medical biotechnology, or medical parasitology, or medical microbiology. So it's still one department. Okay. So when they report, they all do year 1 and 2 together. They learn some things, as I said earlier, within the department. But now, when they reach third year, those who are doing respective courses, for example, biosafety, biosecurity, they go to another unit within the department that only deals with biosafety, biosecurity. The practical exposure for year 1 and 2 is still general. Everybody goes everywhere. But year 3 and 4, they go to specific facilities, institutions, or laboratories that deal with a specific subject matter. The issue of handling pathogens, it is very, 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 very tricky, because we are also working closely with the CDC Africa and the AU to identify within the region where these students will be going to learn about hands-on on handling pathogens, high-risk pathogens. And on that end, we are working very closely with the University of British Columbia. In fact, there is an arrangement to send members of the faculty to go and have some hands-on experience from that country. But then this will be specific, will be only specific for students undergoing bachelor's degree in biosafety, biosecurity. The rest who are doing medical lab science will go to teaching hospitals, will go to university hospitals. The ones who are doing biomedical technology, medical biotechnology will go to research institutions, and we have a lot of them in our country. So we have a department, yes, but within the department, there are subject matter specific units that will handle the students from year 3. I hope I've answered you, Dr. Ali.
Yes, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Do we have any other question or comment?
Thank you for your presentation. I would like to know if your students support the dissertation of thesis of memory.
Am I getting you?
If your students support the dissertation.
Yes, they will. They will. They will. They do it the same way. Otherwise, then we get into problems with the regulator. They still have to do a project and they do a dissertation at the end of the course. Otherwise, they wouldn't graduate. The rules for graduate degree are standard.
The topic is more different. For example, for someone do his dissertation in the microbiology, the topic is more different, or it is focused only about for biosecurity.
It will be, if you're handling pathogens, let's say, for example, the example you're giving of microbiology, it will be hinged on how those pathogens are being handled safely and how they are secured. It will have to lean towards biosafety, biosecurity, not the issues to deal with the general medical microbiology that we do. There must be something to marry it to biosafety, biosecurity.
Thank you. Do we have any other question or comments? Yes. We have one more here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Sakwa. This is not basically a question, but it's I would say a call to action. I know a number of us in this room are affiliated to different training institutions, and here we are talking about the different program that you and your team have come up with in biosafety and biosecurity. And what I would like to talk about is the steps that we are taking to see that biosafety and biosecurity can be embraced by other people in other fields, as opposed to only the students or the professionals in the biologicals. Because I can overly hear the program affiliated to medical lab science, medical biotechnology, and that would probably be the case everywhere else. But we are in a time where biosafety and biosecurity, we need a lot of innovation. When you look at things like PPE, a lot of PPE that is being used has been the same for so many years, a lot of decades. And the people who would maybe so much contribute to the innovations in this area are not necessarily in the biologicals. You'll find that they're either in design, they're in engineering fields. So I really just want to call upon all of us, if we can be able to see how important it is that we get on board even other professions, I think it would take us a long way into getting the efforts together to strengthen biosafety and biosecurity. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, my dear sister. Colleagues, that is true. That is true. And we, as colleagues, we are looking forward to most of the institutions of training, most of the countries coming together so that we can assist. Already you can see that Within the country, we have another university that is part of the project so that we can learn from each other. That is the Technical University of Kenya. And then the other one of the investigators comes from Mwanza, Tanzania. We are still open to work with all of us so that we can have this cultivation of this profession coming out. Now, one thing I must also share is that we are looking at establishing maybe postgraduate diploma also for people who have degrees in other fields to try and build faculty and mentor this young proposed cadre or career to its maturity. So we are looking forward to working with anybody who is ready to work with us. And I'm very glad myself because I've seen that Samira has said that she's deeply involved in Morocco, and I'm very happy because since the year 2003, I think as medical lab professionals from Africa, we have been trying to rally all of us together because we all know that there has been declarations. One classical example is the Abuja Declaration, which called on African governments to do certain things. There was also the Yaoundé Declaration. But then how do we fulfill this in our time? What is important today is that Africa CDC has come to being and is actually domiciled in the African Union. I think it's an entry point for us to ensure that Africa moves together in one fashion. In 2013, 2003, I think, we did form the Federation of African Associations of Medical Lab Sciences. And we had one professor, God rest his soul, who died. It was called Professor Peter Ndumbe from Cameroon. He got funding, I think, from CDC, and he established a project for training people on how to do HIV diagnosis and opportunistic infections. So in the process, he had a line in his budget to establish a federation for African associations. And one of the things that was done to ensure that the continent moves together, we established charters. We established charters in East Africa, established charters in West Africa. Actually, our president comes from Nigeria. We were not able to penetrate the north, and I'm very grateful to Sinbio for bringing us together, because then we're going to have that connection. So each of the charters had a vice president. I'm the first vice president for East Africa. Then we had a president from Chad, a first vice president from Chad, and then there was a vice president from, first vice president from, I think, Togo. And these chapters were supposed to have their own federations that are regional, so that we bring everybody on board. And what did we do? We domiciled the headquarters of the federation in Yaoundé, Cameroon, because of the fact that it's bilingual. And the Secretary General is based in Yaoundé, so that we are able to communicate with all our colleagues. So personally, I'm very excited, and I want to welcome all of you to come on board so that we can take this agenda forward together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. James. Any other question or comment before we break off for lunch? Okay, it seems we've exhausted all the questions, or probably it's the fact that we are running low on our energy. So thank you very much, Mr. Sakwa, for that wonderful session.